most important tag word that attracted me was happiest country in the world. I have to see this for myself in person. How is this possible for any country to be so happy?
The best thing about Finnish education is that universities trying to kind of combine the theoretical approach and the practical approach. So you kind of have this balance of theory and also practice. We're going to have a certain amount of time when we are just going to be working mostly. Our teachers even tried to stimulate us to find a job even during our studies, and I feel like that this is great because in my home country, everyone is mostly focused on just theory, and people just end up graduating from the university without any practical knowledge, and it doesn't work in life like this.
So one of the main reasons why I chose to study in Finland was because of the affordability. I actually got 100% scholarship while coming to study here, and so that was one of the main attractions for me. I want to say there's a low hierarchy, but I think the best way to put it is there's no hierarchy at all, because it is so easy to walk up to your professor, have a chat with him, ask questions where you don't understand, and they are forever ready to help. Another reason I chose Finland was because of how big Finland is on equality, diversity, as well as sustainability. I think the country does a good job in empowering its women, as well as the men, obviously.
I feel like I have a lot of flexibility, and I have a feeling of my own identity, my own self, of what I'm building here as my own study profile. Then I feel like I will be more ready for the society out there, because nobody here is just out for degrees. We're out there for finding our place in the world where we can do a job, where we find people interested in our skill set. So if that skill set is the same basic rigid program that every other person who's doing the degree has, then I don't feel like I have a role here. I feel like I am playing a role here. So that's what attracted me to Finland, because I felt like I could make myself, build a person.
The quality of education in Finland is really good. You get to practice what you've learned theoretically. You get to practice it exactly as it is, with the most recent technologies as you will find outside. And then you have lots of assignments. I mean, it's really good when we have assignments. It might be tiring, but then you get to learn more when you discover some things yourself.
There's not really that pressure of grades, so you can focus more on where things are going right, where they are going wrong, on your process of learning, exactly, not just in the end of what you got. So you're not really memorizing stuff to do it in an exam and forget about it later. You're in a process that you're gonna remember. We also get to do a lot of collaborative work. I feel like there's kind of a paradox, because when you get to working life, people want you to know how to collaborate. But a lot of places where you study at don't actually encourage you to do that. You take your own exams, you do your own papers, your own essays, and here you get to do a project for a semester or for half of a semester with different people. So you actually train that and develop that skill before you get to a working place. Don't be afraid of experiencing new things. I know a lot of people say that oh, Finland is too cold, Finland is too dark, it's too different, it's too far away in some cases, but it's a really, really unique experience that you probably wouldn't get anywhere else. And these experiences are what you're gonna take with you for the rest of your life, and you're never gonna forget.
Great. Now I think I will share a little bit of a presentation first, and then we can. Here we go. All right. So my name is Anna Korpi, and I work at the Embassy of Finland. I actually work at the Embassy of Finland in Singapore, but in my role, I also cover Indonesia as one of the countries where we work with education cooperation student recruitment and other areas related to this. So very much welcome from my side as well to this Finland session today, and we are very, very grateful that you have taken an interest in Finland. Indonesia and Finland are quite far apart, and of course Indonesia is much bigger than Finland, but I think we still have many similarities, for example, when it comes to appreciation of education. In this opening video, I wanted to kind of already kind of take you to Finland with this to get a little bit of insight into how our international students see Finland, and especially the studies there. But later in this session, you will also hear from one of the Indonesian students directly of her experience. So I'm really happy to have Miss Hilja here with us also today. But I think first I will just take you through a little bit of maybe a boring presentation on study in Finland, so that you get the sort of basic information. And then later, after Hilja's presentation, we will have for opportunity for you to ask questions, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And please already post them in the chat. Then we will try to take them up from the chat as we go. But okay, like I said, Indonesia and Finland are quite far apart. But for those of you who don't know, Finland is located in the very north of Europe, with Norway, Sweden, and bordering Russia. We are part of the European Union, and are very much a sort of a Nordic country in many respects. We share many things with our Nordic colleagues, with the Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Iceland, for example. We want to say that Finland is a leading education country in the world. We are, of course, very much known for the basic education quality, but also, like you hear from the students maybe in the video, also something that we take very much pride that also the higher education in Finland is very, very high quality and very good quality. For example, thinking of future skills and also things that you will for sure need in the working life. These days, we have also sort of taken many steps to becoming one of the greenest and most sustainable countries in the world. We have some of the most ambitious, for example, carbon neutrality targets these days, and we aim to be carbon neutral already at 2035, so in basically 10 years. And of course, we are doing a lot of investments, a lot of transformation around this as well, and lots of what is on offer on the study side as well is very much related to sustainability issues. We are, of course, very high technology country and known for, of course, back in the days, we were known for a company like Nokia and the telecommunications business. But nowadays, that background has kind of led us into very much working with many aspects of the kind of digital transformation of the society, of the different industries and all of that. So we also very much work a lot with very many sort of high-end, high-level technologies, deep technologies even. Finland is very safe and well-functioning society. I know this is something that, for example, our international students very much value in Finland, that the life is kind of easy when the basic things work very well. Of course, we are, for example, one of the countries that is the least corrupt in the world, and also many other things that are sort of good qualities of the society in general. In terms of education, which you are, of course, thinking of the higher education, we have sort of two tracks. So we have the academic universities that offer bachelor's, master's degrees, and also all the way to doctor's degrees. Then we have universities of applied sciences that offer mostly bachelor's degree, but also then later, after some work experience, also sort of these higher level master degrees. So, but these universities of applied sciences are a bit more linked to the working life and maybe closer working with the industry needs also in terms of education. We have in Finland 13 universities, these academic universities, and then 22 universities of applied sciences, and they are located in all the different parts of the country, from the very south to the very north, from the west to the east. And they are altogether, they offer more than 500 degree programs in English. So of course, when you would look into studying in Finland, we don't expect you to learn Finnish to be able to, but really the studies are in English. Of course, we encourage all of our international students to study some Finnish, because of course helps with the everyday life, but also English will be a very good starting point there as well. Like I said, the different universities and universities of applied sciences are located in the very different parts of Finland, in the different clusters. So we have sort of the whole big country actually covered in with the different higher education institutions. Like I said, the universities are the ones that offer bachelor's, master's, doctor's degrees, and of course they are responsible for the sort of academic research. These days, this is a bit of an old number, but some 10% of the master students are international, and in Finland we are very much looking to increase this number, and that's why we also very much welcome the Indonesian students to apply for studies in Finland. The same with the universities of applied sciences. Like I said, they are more the professionally oriented institutions, and even though offering bachelor's and master's degrees, then more the focus is on the bachelor's level there. Similar amounts of international students, but also universities of applied sciences are very much looking to increase their international student community. The place where you would like to, of course, look for the different programs available, of course, from the different universities' websites and their admissions information, but also there is a portal called studyinfo.fi, where you can basically search with keywords the different kinds of programs that are available. And usually the application period is something between November and January to start the next academic year starting in September. But also many of the programs have sort of a bit differing schedules as well. There is a tuition fee, but we always want to remind our students that there is no application fee as such. So to apply is very much free. And the place where you want to go after this session already is the Study in Finland website at studyinfinland.fi. We'll have links to all the universities and very much also practical information about what it is to study in Finland. Very quickly about the doctoral studies. Doctoral studies in Finland don't have a tuition fee. They are free of charge. But these are then mostly managed and administered by the universities themselves. So there is sort of no centralized application procedure for these. In general, the fees to study in Finland are, I would say, quite moderate. There is a fee for students coming from the outside of the EU, but it is very much compared to many other countries, I would say, still quite moderate. For the bachelor's level, you're looking at something from 4,000 to about 12,000 euros a year. And then for master's level, it's from about 5,000 to 18,000 euros a year at the maximum. All of the universities are required and also happy to offer scholarships of different kinds. And usually when you look into a particular program, they will also have information about those scholarships available. So you want to look into the particular universities, practices, and also that program where you are interested in for the scholarship opportunities. For the residence permit, there is sort of a minimum requirement of living cost or expenses that you should have to be able to get the residence permit for the first year. Like I said, the scholarships are available, but usually the best place to look for the scholarships information is from each of the universities and their programs informations. this is something that we also want to highlight, that we just there was for example just now a new sort of a change where basically when you apply to become a student in Finland, the residence permit is now granted for the whole length of your study. So for example, for a bachelor's degree, you are granted a full 4 years residence permit immediately, and then after that, after your studies, when you graduate, you can extend the residence permit for up to 2 years to look for a job in Finland. So we very much welcome our students to stay in Finland and also work with the different companies, the different organizations that offer the opportunities in these fields. And we always encourage students already during their studies to look for internships, look for project work, and look for the kind of networks to the companies already during their studies, and the university staff is also very much there to support. I think I will stop here to kind of remind you that what are the different key steps towards your studies in Finland. You want to look for the particular programs at studyinfo.fi. And then, of course, look for the detailed admissions information there. Then apply and also apply for the scholarships. And then after that, wait for the acceptance letter. And then we will then have you at the embassy processing the visas and all. So with these quite clear steps, let's say those are your 5 steps towards Finland. But now I think, and of course, we want to remind you all to kind of follow our Study in Finland social media channels and also the YouTube channel now on the different channels to also get more information about particular campaigns. And there's a lot of content on our social media channels as well. The video that you just saw in the beginning is one of the new Study in Finland videos, and also on the YouTube channel you will find more such videos for you to take a look. But now I think enough of the sort of boring presentations here. I would like to ask Miss Hilja from the University of Turku to kind of share her view on Finland and studies in Finland. And then after her presentation, we will be happy to take some further questions from the audience as well. So Miss Hilja, please, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Corby. Selamat sore semuanya. Halo, apa kabar? I hope everyone is doing well. Let's see if I can share my screen. Right. Okay, so are you guys in presenter view, or is it the full presentation? Just checking.
It's now in the presentation mode, so good, looks good.
Okay, good. Great. So perkenalkan, nama saya Hilja Auda. I'm Hilja Auda, and I'm currently a master's student in the human neuroscience at the University of Turku. And I know you've probably also joined previous sessions, so hopefully you're still wide awake now. Just to kind of see who I'm with and who I'm talking to, if anyone would like to open their microphones or put in the chat where you're from, where are you currently studying, what are your interests, what is your background program that you're interested in. So anyone, feel free to, turn on the mic and just shout out your name or whatever, or also in the chat, just to kind of for me to get to know you guys. So where is everyone from? Or where are you guys in university, or maybe in high school? Or what are you currently studying? Okay, from Trisakti University, cool. What are you studying, Chandra? Anyone else? Just, feel free, just put it in the chat. Graphic design, all right, nice. From Cimahi, okay. We've got people from Lampung, from Itebe and Malang. All right, so from all over from everywhere. Global health analyst, psychology, English education program. Okay, amazing. Right, so a little bit about myself. I'm currently studying the human neuroscience, and I did a background in psychology with neuropsychology from the UK, and I'll be just discussing a bit about the education system here in Finland, about student life, and also kind of a step-by-step of how you would apply to study in Finland. If this will work. Okay, so the education system in Finland, as you guys know, is one of the best in the world as well. And the higher education system here is also really, really good. Everything is set in place. And as you might have seen from the video, it's really easy to get in contact with teachers, especially there is no hierarchy, whatever you call. This may be a shock to Indonesian students. It still is kind of culturally, I'm not used to it, but you call your teachers by their first name usually, so you don't even go doctor or whatever, or professor or whatever, you just call them by their name, which I am still getting used to, but it's really, really cool. And so about the education system, so there's something called the period system here. So you have your regular semesters, which is your semester 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure everyone is familiar with that. But then you also have period systems, which is basically one semester is divided into two. So you have maybe a 12, 13 week semester, which is divided into a 6 week and another 6, 7 weeks period. So those periods themselves, you mark when you will start your studies. So some courses start within the first period, some courses start within the half of the first period. It really depends on kind of just the schedule. And so you're more flexible, and you can also just arrange yourself what you want to study in that semester. And in that way, you have more kind of consolidated knowledge, and that everything is finished rather quickly. If you have a course only in one period, then you're done with that course for like 6 weeks, in just 6 weeks. So that's cool, in that you can learn a bunch of stuff all at the same time as well. And going into that, Finland has an open university system in which you can apply for any kind of course that you want in any university. I guess that's also a plus side of being in the pandemic, is that everything is online. So I can take a course in Tampere or Jyväskylä and just be, at home for political myself. I've also had people come in from Tampere, attend some courses here. So that's really, really nice and really cool, because you get that whole range. You're not limited to only what your program offers, but you can take whatever you want. And that applies also to within the university itself. So I've taken classes from astronomy, I've taken classes from genetics and biology, all different kinds, and I can tailor it to my specific interest. And so that's what you make your own personal study plan, basically. So it depends on the university and depends on the program itself. My program, for example, we have mandatory courses that we do have to take, and then we have electives, and you can take as many electives as you want. You just kind of have to be smart about it and know your limits, say what you can do and whether or not it clashes with any of your mandatory classes. So in that way, you can just personally put in whatever you'd like and gear it towards what your interests are. And it doesn't even have to be related to your field. You can take anything. You can, if you're in a science, I'm doing neuroscience, I can take a marketing class if I want, a data analytics class or something else. It's just completely up to me, which is really, really nice. Another thing about Finland that's maybe a bit different is the e-exam system. So you go take e-exams in a computer room instead of the usual pen and paper, pencil and paper kind of thing. And then also it's mandatory that the universities give you 3 chances to do the exam, which is really, really nice. That's a great thing about Finland, is that they really value a work-life balance and you're not stressing 24/7 all the time. And so in that case, even if you do maybe fail the first attempt, that's okay. You still have 2 more attempts to do that, to do the exam. So that's really, really nice. It takes off the pressure and it gives you more time to just revise and actually learn it, instead of just, as the video said earlier as well, instead of just memorizing everything and then forgetting it after the exam. And then, of course, there are students from various backgrounds. Finland is very open to international students, and with the current changes in residence permits and making it easier for students to actually study and stay and work here in Finland. So you will get friends from a variety of backgrounds, even within your programs themselves. They may not always be, like for my example, my program, we have people from linguistics, we have people from biology, we have people from medicine, dentistry, and all that, and like technology and AI. So So it's really, really cool to just get together with a bunch of people and talk about what you're interested in. These are a couple of photos of Turku and just the buildings that we have as well. So next, about the application process, now is a really, really good time. I'm glad that you guys are here because it's really good time to actually start to plan what you want to do. If you're very interested in studying in Finland, you can start, again, as Anna also said, to look through every university's website to see what programs you might be interested in. Here we have the UTU has 16 international degree programs. I think 3 of them are bachelor's degrees and the rest are master's degrees. And there's a variety of tech and technology programs, science programs. There's even this, I think it's probably the first one in Europe or maybe the first one in Finland. There's a future studies program where that program is dedicated to studying about the future, which is really, really cool. So people have from different backgrounds and they will study the projection or future things that they will need to do within their own specific subject. So there's people, there's environmental futurists, there's technology futurists and all that. That's like a really cool course. And I've never heard of that until I came to Finland. And then how and when to apply to UTU. So there's usually this joint application program for the universities. I'm not familiar with how applied sciences are, but for the universities, I think they open sometime early January. Again, you can go to study info as well to see when it is, but the exact dates themselves will be published on the university website. So it's always good to check from there. And then also, of course, there's scholarships and tuition fees. So a lot of universities in Finland offer the 100% tuition scholarships, which is really, really nice. And also there's the Finland scholarship, which is from the government, which gives you a living kind of grant in the first year. So in UTU, there's a 5,000 living grant that you can get in your first year when you arrive here. And so that is also really, really helpful. And so after that, and you submit your things and your documents and everything in January. So now's a really good time for those of you, if you're taking the international programs, obviously you will need to prove your English language skills. So you might need to take IELTS or TOEFL, and that might take a while to study for them. So now's a good time to start studying for them and plan to take it maybe in October or November so that you will have your results by January when you need to submit everything. And also don't forget to translate all your documents, your rapport and everything, your transcripts and everything with a sworn translator, of course. So just take the time to really go through it and make a timeline. So what I did both during my undergrad and my graduate is that I made a huge kind of just sheet of paper on my wall, and I had every month the timeline of when things opened, when I needed to do this, what documents I needed, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So these are tips for those of you who've never applied to universities abroad. And then also in March, some programs do interviews, some don't. So again, go to the program website and check what they want and what they need. And then the letter of acceptance will be sent out as well with the scholarships. So at least in UTU with scholarships, you don't actually have to do a separate application. You just need to like tick a box whether or not you want a scholarship, and they will automatically consider you for it. And then those will be sent out sometime in March or early April. And then in April and May, you start accepting your study place. There's also a scholarship waiting list as well. So you, even if you didn't get it on the first try, you may be on the reserve list. And then of course, after accepting everything, you start applying for a residence permit and also for housing here at whichever city you will end up in. And then June, July, you will get a housing offer. Your residence permit is processing. Well, at least in my experience, that was like 2021. Yeah, last year, the Finnish embassy in Indonesia was really, really quick. I think I got my residence permit like, I don't know, in 10 days or something. But obviously the usual working processing period is 3 months or something. So it's always good to apply very early in advance and just plan when you want to arrive. So for example, here in UTU, most studies start in September, but we have orientation on the last week of August. Again, course specific, program specific. So for example, Faculty of Medicine, of which I'm in, we start our studies even already at the end of August. So we have to arrive a bit earlier than everyone. And so, yeah, so that's just, and also there's those degree studies, that's a link of what kind of courses are there within the programs themselves. So you can, just really look into it and see whether or not they offer things that you're interested in. And after that, you have orientation, and then you start your studies in September. Here's a little link to just blog posts about student life in general here in Turku. It's really, really fun. I'm sure for those of you in Indonesia, it's, it is cold here. So I was a bit worried about how I would prepare for the Finnish winter because it's an Nordic country. And I'm just like, ooh, okay, I see online like minus 20 degrees, maybe minus 40 if you're in Lapland, and okay, but don't worry about it. There's plenty of support, because even once you get accepted, you'll also have student tutors to help you. So I'm also a tutor as well as an international ambassador from UTU, and they'll help you with everything. So you don't need to worry too much about it. There's plenty of help available. Okay. Oh, no. Right, on to student life in Turku. This is just a fun little takes of what I've been doing here. We have on the left our Christmas dinner and our pikkujoulu, I think I said, yeah. And then also we have Vappu, which is Labor Day. It's a big thing here where everyone puts their hats on, and those are all the student unions. And then also next to that with the fall trees are the rest of the international ambassadors. And one thing that I didn't know until I came to Turku is that every university, every faculty have these overalls. So there you can see me on the screen. I'm wearing my overalls for the human neuroscience program, and it's really, really cool. It's just a way to just kind of show your school spirit, basically. We also have campus sport, which is the gym here, which you can apply to for the rest of the year. And also this applies to every university in every city. There are student cafeterias, which offer really, really affordable student lunches. So I think it was like 270 euros. And those are really nice as well. And there's always vegetarian options as well for those who eat halal. And also pescatarian, you can do that as well. So that's the local company that does student cafeteria is Unica here. And it's just, it's just really fun. You've got your 4 seasons. That's not something you're used to in Indonesia. And it's really, really pretty as well, because Finland, the great thing about in Turku, you're also connected to nature. So it's not too far away, yet like literally right outside my door, or just like a 3-minute walk behind my house is a forest that I can just go into if I'm tired or I need a break. So it's really, really nice. And the air here is very, very clean. I'm from Jakarta, and those of you who are from Jakarta know how polluted it is. So, and then you come here and it's just like, oh, I can breathe, kind of thing. So it's also a very nice thing. Right, so a couple of words about my program. I'm doing the Human Neuroscience Master's Degree Program. We have a couple of specific modules: brain imaging methods, clinical neuroscience, behavioral methods, and other courses. And we are under the Turku Brain and Mind Center, which is a really good and really big organization here in Turku, and we're constantly expanding, and we have a lot of different people from different backgrounds, from a lot of different places, and a lot of research groups are going on. I think if you go on the UTU website, there's about 120 something research groups, so I'm pretty sure you can find something that you're really interested in. And if anyone wants to know more about the program, feel free to contact me. That's also good. Right, so our motto is think, question, get inspired by the future, by science, and by challenge. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or put them in the chat.
Thanks very much, Ilya. I think that was much more useful than just a general presentation about the study in Finland. So I know that the students online got, or the young people from Indonesia online got a lot from your presentation. So now I hope that we have time now to take maybe 3, 4, 5 questions before we close up. But before, so please write those in the chat and we will take them up. But I would like to kind of start this still with Hilja to hear from her still. I think maybe you touched on this already a little bit, but if you could still share a bit more about why did you choose particularly Finland? I know you are a very bright young woman. I'm sure you had many opportunities and options. So how did you actually end up in Finland particularly?
Okay, so I came to Finland because of the scholarship option, and also, so my particular field, neuroscience, it's still rare, so it's kind of hard to find. So that already narrowed down my options of which universities or even which countries I could go to. It's also a reason why I left Indonesia is because they just didn't offer neuroscience programs. And so Finland being one of the very, very good ones, and also another option for mine was the UK. That was actually my first option because I did my undergrad in the UK, but the UK is very expensive. And they don't offer a lot of scholarships as much as Finland does, especially in terms of tuition. And in terms of tuition, Finland is much, much cheaper than the UK as well. And even living in Turku is much cheaper than when I was living in the UK when I was in my undergrad. So that's also really nice. It's a nice thing. And there's just kind of it was just nicer, and that the scholarship mainly was why I applied to Finland. And then also being the happiest country in the world, my mom was very hyped about that. It's the happiest country in the world, and I was just very curious. I really appreciate work-life balance, and it's something that I strive for and encourage in people around me, and that's something Nordic countries are especially famous for, is having a good, very good work-life balance and appreciating boundaries. So that's also just made me more encouraged to come and study in Finland, and it's been really, really nice.
Thanks so much for that. And I think there's, sort of the sort of hardcore facts, meaning that the scholarships and the programs
Yes.
available and all that. But
Yeah.
happy to hear also that you sort of were intrigued by this happiest country in the world, as it was in the video as well. That somebody said that how can it be that. I think it is funny. I'm sure you, Hilja, have heard it in Finland many times. That also when you talk to Finnish people about this, they are like, how come are we happiest ourselves, but
there's a lot of memes about Finnish people.
But when we actually then started to dig into what is that ranking particularly made of, like what I said in the beginning, actually many of the things that like the well-functioning society, safety, all of that, of course the nature, work-life balance, those are the things that kind of like, instead of being like every day happy joy, but these are sort of like the constant blocks of good life somehow, and I think that's what makes Finland happiest in those metrics, at least, maybe.
Like all the different aspects of life that can be stressful, like healthcare and just food and just shelter and everything, those are all covered here in Finland. So for those of you who will come here, you'll also have access to the student healthcare and Kela, and I guess that's probably what makes Finland the happiest, is that your basic needs are fulfilled without you having to die for them, basically. So that is like a big thing that really impacts.
Yeah, and I think we were very happy to kind of, even during the pandemic, even during the COVID times, we were quite proud of Finland, also the welfare, the healthcare system particularly, but also the rest of the society, how we still kind of quite well manage even such a chaotic situation as that. But then maybe another question on your future, particularly, like now you have studied in the UK, now you're in Finland. What is your future plan? What is your dream job, or where do you see yourself in the future? And how do you see that Finland has helped you on your journey?
Okay, so my future plans is to do a PhD after this and to dive into academia. That's just kind of always what I've wanted to do since the very beginning. I really like teaching and I like just being in academia in general, although, academia has things they can fix, but it's a nice environment and you have access to a lot of things, especially when you're affiliated with a university. And so I'm staying within academia. I would like to continue the research that I'm interested in, and specifically the kind of research that I'm interested in is emotional and just kind of healthy emotional development, and how it's connected to the brain. So neuroscience, for those of you who are unaware, is just the brain, basically everything to do with the brain. I have like a whole wall of just brains on my wall right now in my bedroom. If I turn off I can show you in a bit. Wait. Right. So yes, I just have a whole wall of brains in my room. So that's just what I've been really into. And TBMC has really up to date and is really, really good research. They currently have a FinBrain, which is a longitudinal study. They've been following kids from within the womb, and now the kids are 9 years old, just constantly like checking up on them, seeing how their development has been. And that kind of opportunity to be involved, that's what I'm doing my thesis on. I will be working with FinBrain for my thesis, and that kind of opportunity is very rare and hard to get by, especially specifically for what I'm interested in. And so that will definitely help in the future. Especially I'm getting a lot of, so with our program itself, they focus specifically on human neuroscience. So you're getting a lot of different backgrounds, of course, in psychology and psychiatry, in neurology, but also in the data analysis and neuroimaging methods research that you need for the future. So that's really great, and that I have access to that, and I can build my repertoire and skills that I need to pursue the PhD that I want. So that has really been very helpful, and everyone here is just so nice, and they're really, it's just, it's just really nice to work here, basically.
Well, great. I know the University of Turku is particularly known of course medicine and sort of bio side of the like sort of health sciences and sort of all of that. So I think you're very much in the right place. And also there's I think a very interesting business ecosystem around that. So there's like technology companies that link to this. And this is very typical of Finnish universities, that they actually become these kind of hubs of ecosystems or somehow like, so it's not just the academia that you work for, it's really there's a lot of spin-offs and startups around the universities, and also bigger, especially in the health area. I guess I'm sure you know this well, but there's like big pharma companies and big international companies that actually come to Finland because of these interesting systems. Well, thanks so much for that, and we're happy to hear of your future plans. Now, we have some questions from the audience, and I would like to, maybe we can't take all of them, but there's quite a lot of questions about the scholarship opportunities. And I would say that you could, like I said, the main sort of rule of thumb is that first you look up the program you are interested in, like Hilja did with neuroscience. And then you dive into what that particular program offers and what are the sort of mechanisms. So unfortunately, there is that Finland scholarship, like what Hilja mentioned, which is a bit more sort of a centralized setup, which is quite new, actually started just this year. But then the rest of the scholarship arrangements are sort of per university and per the program. But I don't know, do you have, because there's quite a lot of different questions on that, so do you have any other tips on the scholarship scheme from your side?
Okay, so I understand that often when you want to go abroad, you're looking for a full funded scholarship that covers everything, but it also depends on kind of your future career and how you want your future career to be. So for example, there's LPDP always, I'm pretty sure everyone is aware with LPDP, and they offer, of course, full tuition scholarships and also fully funding for just everything in general. But it's also possible to, a lot of my friends have worked before they come here, and so they've saved up, and that's how they've been funding their studies. The 100% tuition scholarship absolutely helps in that you don't even need, you're basically going to uni for free, so you don't even need to worry about that. And then of course the grants also help. I also work alongside while I'm here, so that also helps with my living. I'm not going to lie, it is a bit hard to find just kind of everyday retail jobs, and if you don't speak Finnish, but there's also opportunities within the universities themselves. You might be able to work with research groups. I work with the admissions department and also the marketing department, and that's just kind of how I've been able to fund my studies as well. Because for me, if I were to go and do LPDP, they have the thing where you have to go back to Indonesia for a couple of years, and because of the field that I'm in, I can't do that. It would kill my career, basically. I'm just being honest. So that wasn't really, I mean, I did apply for it and I didn't get it, but there's always other options, and you can always save up before you go. And there's also there might be other options in that you can go to companies or other organizations as well that might help fund you.
Yeah, and I think many
yeah.
of some of the, at least I think some of the universities of applied sciences in Finland, they offer such arrangements where you first study your first year. If you complete a certain amount of credits, then the next year they will waive a part of your tuition fee. So they sometimes also have these kind of arrangements. But unfortunately, this is a bit of a mixed landscape, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we don't have like a clear-cut answer there, but it's worth looking into. And I would just remind everybody to kind of also apply for the scholarships as you apply for the programs themselves. Okay, then there's a question on. There's, for example, a question: does Finland accept applicants for a second master's degree if the master's degree is obtained from another country? Yeah, answer is yes. Basically, we don't have any sort of at least even basically for Finns where the government is paying for our studies, then basically you are still free to study as many degrees as you want. Of course, it's not always the best choice when it comes to the career to be stacking up too much of degrees. But maybe, I know, of course, when you maybe try to pivot your career or you try to do something new, then of course that's needed. So yes, that's available, I guess, is the short answer.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how old you are, how many degrees you've had. I worked in admissions and I've had an applicant come in with 2 bachelors, 2 masters, and a PhD, and then applying for another master's. So it really does not matter as long as you have the background for it, or even if you want to change your background. Again, it's like program specific and also university specific, but there are no restrictions on age or anything like that. So just feel free to study whatever you want.
Indeed, and it also goes for, there's I think another question on, is there an age limit for scholarship? No, there is no age limit on scholarship. In Finland, we very much believe in this kind of like lifelong learning. So we believe that even if you are retired, you might still want to go back to the university to get a degree. So that is also possible. So I think, I don't know how it is in your program, Hilja, but I think in general in Finland, the university students are actually, maybe compared to maybe some other countries, they might be a bit older actually in some programs, that they are not maybe fresh out of high school. Basically, there are actually quite many people that take 1 or 2 gap years, or they maybe study something else and then they actually discover what is my mission and then they go for that. So that means that of course you might be a bit older already when you're not like 18 or 20 years old when you are especially in the master studies.
Yeah, I have friends in my master's studies who've taken 7-year gaps, 10-year gaps. It doesn't really matter, and then they come back because they want to study, and that's the career they want to pursue has changed or something. So it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. There's one question about the eligibility for scholarship benefits for students with spouses and children. This is a bit of a challenging question for us also sometimes, because of course you are allowed to bring your family to Finland in terms of the residence permit, but I think we don't have specific scholarship to kind of provide for the family. So of course then it is the question of maybe income, or do you have sort of saved up the sort of funds to provide for the family. But I think after a certain period of time you start to be eligible for sort of social benefits also in Finland. And of course, for example, once you have a residence permit, for example, the children are eligible for daycare, for example, and school, of course, if they are at school age. So, but it is a bit more complicated picture that you have to look into basically the immigration services in Finland. Migri.fi is the website there to find out and the details for that, I think.
Yeah, there's the option for your spouse, for your children. Obviously, they can come with you if you want because they're your dependents. Your spouse can also come and apply for residence permit to be with you, or they can also try and find a separate job and go apply for a work visa instead. So it just really depends on kind of your own situation, and best to check out the Migri website to see what will suit you the best.
Indeed. Then I think this is a bit of a challenging question these times, but I will still take it because I know many people are maybe thinking about this in this world time and age. There's a question of, is it safe to study in Finland at the moment when we have something quite drastic happening in Europe with Russia invading and starting an aggressive war on Ukraine? So, of course, you might have heard that Finland has just applied for NATO membership, and so far we don't see any particular sort of major or active sort of military threat at the moment. So, this is not a really an active sort of everyday threat in Finland at the moment. Of course, we cannot. Everybody in Europe has been very upset about Russia invading another country in Europe, and of course that has sort of shaken a lot of sort of the thinking and also international relations in these past months, and has of course changed some things. But I think the decisions that Finland has now made together with Sweden, and also we are part of the European Union. We have been sort of we have very strong ties to the West and this alliance already. Of course, nobody can know what happens in the future, but I would say that it's still very safe to be in Finland, and there's no sort of active threats that we are facing. I don't know how you see that discussion in Finland at the moment, Hilja.
Well, I've discussed with my friends, and we all personally, we feel safe. We also know that for those of you who are unaware, Finnish men, I think after high school have mandatory military, so there's a lot of military training. So there's a lot of military reserves as well. And also because Finland is part of the EU, I feel more secure that it's just everything will be fine. I don't feel any threats. No one is panicking, at least not anyone that I know around me. Everyone feels safe. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, I think Finland is in a very different situation than Ukraine, for example.
Yeah.
But of course, even with that, of course, we are happy about that for Finland, but we still always we feel really bad about what is happening in the Ukraine, and also Finland, as the other European countries, we are doing as much as we can to support the Ukraine in this very difficult situation. So it is not to downplay what is happening there at the moment, of course.
Not at all.
Yeah. But I thank you for that question. I know it's something that maybe many people are thinking about these days. I think there's a couple of questions in Bahasa there that I unfortunately cannot read. Maybe
okay,
I don't know, Hilja, if you want to look through them. But
okay, one's about the scholarship. We already answered that. Limited age. Okay, so here's someone who's asked, do I need work experience do they accept a Duolingo English test and things like that? Okay, so for English language requirements, go check on your university and whichever university you're applying to and see whether or not they will accept that. But to my knowledge, they will only accept kind of official English language tests such as TOEFL, IBT, ETS, and also IELTS, of course. But it's different for every university. So every university will also have different minimal requirements. So I suggest you go straight to the university website and see what their English language requirements are. But to my knowledge, I haven't seen anyone who has accepted the Duolingo test because, well, it's maybe not as comprehensive because, of course, this is a university. And so it's not just a taste of your basic conversational English, but also your academic English, and see or not whether you're suited to academic whether you have the vocabulary and also the skills necessary for academia, which I don't know if Duolingo tests that. So even if you do have very good conversational English, academic English is a different skill set that you will have to develop. And those official tests like IELTS, the academic IELTS and TOEFL, they test specifically for academia. So it would be different. Yes, maybe I can provide my PowerPoints to Anna, and they will also have links to everything. People, honestly, as someone who's been applying abroad for maybe like 3 years now, and everywhere, you can just Google. Everything is on Google. Whatever your keywords are, University of blah, 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 list of universities, you can just go ahead and go to Google and you will find the official websites, and within the official websites themselves they'll link it to every information that you need. So that's why it's a good thing that you're here now, because it's very early, it's in May, you have like a half of a year to prep everything that you need to prep. So it does take a lot of patience and a lot of research, but that's also, you know, if you can't do that, then do you really want to study at a higher education? Because of course it's going to be even more challenging for that. So it's take it in a way that it's prepping you for higher education abroad, that you have the skill set and also just the patience to be able to look at information and everything. So everything like official links, you can just Google them and they will be there. So yeah.
Thanks very much. Somebody was asking about the link to the scholarship information. I shared just now the link to the Study in Finland website, which is a general page. Like again, what we've been said, you have to check the detailed from the program pages. But now I think I'm afraid we have run out of time. Thank you very, very much for the questions, and especially for Ms. Hilja to being here and discussing this with me. I think it's super, super helpful for the students in Indonesia to hear your sort of point of view in this. And on this page you also have the University of Turku details, which you can
contact
send.
information. So for those of you who want to ask about the University of Turku information, you can email admissions, or also this is the link. I'm not sure how I can share this PowerPoint to you guys, but this is a link to the UTU ambassadors in which you can contact through UniBuddy and things like that. And this is just, you know, snippet of how pretty Finland is. This is all from Turku, and I've taken this all myself, and it's really, really pretty here. So come study in Finland.
Thanks so much, and I think we will end this session now with another video, so you can take a look of a little bit more about. I think it's called Student Life in Finland. So much what Ms. Hilja has already talked about, and a bit of images of Finland, also from the winter time, which I also say that please don't be afraid of the winter. It's beautiful and also rare these days when the world is becoming too hot. Actually, we really much treasure our winters in Finland. So with that, I thank you very, very much for your attention today, and please take a further look into the Study in Finland websites and the other university pages, and we hope to see you in Finland very soon. So thank you for this, and all the best to everybody in Indonesia.
Thank you, everyone.
You meet your friends a lot, there are some parties going on, and even like going out. Sometimes in weekends we come to campus because we can do like a movie night with projectors and everything. So it's kind of different from what I experienced, because in other places I would be like, why would I be going to campus on weekends to do something? Yeah, I feel like people are really open to like meeting new people who are arriving, because most people came from like different environments, their first time abroad or their first time moving away from people, they arrived by themselves, so everyone's like really open.
To be honest, when I first moved to Finland, I have a lot of reservation in the sense that how I will making sure that I got good study, at the same time can spend time with my daughter, and also like can work and then got some income, and then how I can socialize or how I can integrate with the social. And then I see that with one support platform, and then everything get easier and easier. We don't feel like we are lonely in the new country. We have the support platform around, and we can reach out and get support.
The student life in Finland, because of its international environment, is really great. We hang out during the weekends to have fun. We hang out during the weekdays to study. So basically, we do socialize a lot.
We have a lot of students' activities. Basically every week we will have some like student party or activity that you can attend, and you can have a chance to meet more people all from different countries. They have different backgrounds, so it's a good way to make more friends.
The whole system is very different, and I feel like I get to learn and to experience new things, but at the same time I don't feel so stressed out while learning. We also have the student unions that support us and make activities for us to have a social life and to get to know other people.
Well, student life in Finland is very specific, I would say, because of the freedom you have. You build your own schedule, so the free time in the afternoon is quite extensive. We have like meetings with Finnish students like Sitsi and all that, so it's quite interesting that you have options to meet your fellow classmates or students from the faculty. But at the same time, you have quite a lot of activities that you can do on your own. So usually it revolves around sports, because what I noticed, Finland is quite a sporty country.
It's also really easy to be a student because there are many benefits offered to students, starting from student discounts in restaurants. You can have like a meal in a student restaurant with only €2.70. There are also discounts at other shops, cafes, and definitely also at the transportation. So student life, I feel that it's not restricted on the university. You can learn, for example, from the associations. You can learn from all these people actually that are coming from different countries. And this is also my favorite part of my studies here, that I get to interact with so many people that are coming from so many different countries and have such different ways of thinking. And this is challenging. It's challenging also my way of thinking. There are many sports clubs and cultural or artistic clubs that they can be part of, and this also enhances their well-being. And talking about well-being, actually, there is a lot of support from the side of the university on the well-being of students. So they can have like free sessions with psychologists or groups that support their well-being.